Welcome to the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti, along with my buddy Katie Stazak, and we're going to look at our Friday 10 race card, fast main track, firm turf course, couple of carryovers we want to tell you about. The first one is in the Rainbow Six, and it's getting up there slowly but surely. It's up to over $25,000. That's races 5 through 10. But the next one I want to tell you about is very important because it starts in the first race. There is a carryover in the Rolling Super High Fives today in race number 1, $4,090. So you have to handicap this first race and get in on it because they've been paying great, especially when there's money like that in the Katie. They just seem to skyrocket, at least the purse, the pool does.
That's a very nice carryover to start the day. They really get excited. Once it reaches a certain point, that Rolling Super High Five, you see a ton of money come in. They zero in on it. And it ends up paying very, very well and exciting because that's going to start right off the bat in our first race.
Before we get started, we're going to see what's tweeting around the country today. And the first one we want to talk about is a horse that we know very well from Gulfstream Park, and that is RBK.
Yeah, we had the Fasig-Tipton sales continue this week, and we had a couple of horses that we're familiar with here at Gulfstream Park sell for big money. RBK, formerly trained by our own Ralph Nix, Grade 1 winner, sold for $2.4 million. I think Ralph should have gotten a commission on that, personally.
I hope so. That horse, remember, winning the inside information. Really nice horse. So,
and also, Gammy Noir, we know her from the Marty Wolfson barn. He actually claimed her for $100,000, and she ended up winning. Nice races here at Gulfstream, was a grade 2 winner, and she sold for $375,000. A nice payoff as well, and a nice return on investment there that Marty Wolfson picked up. We all know how good he is at claiming, privately purchasing mares, specifically fillies and mares, and then selling them, and they do get bought for significant amounts of money at the sales.
I didn't even have to look at the Twitter page to know that Katie was going to pick this next tweet being a hockey fan. She's even a bigger hockey fan than I am here. And the horse named Nyquist.
Nyquist that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile is named after Nyquist, the hockey player from the Detroit Red Wings. And he doesn't know a whole lot about horses. This is a fun little interview for him. He called it weird, he called it fun, but he did say that he's contacting Mr. Redham that owns a Nyquist and going to get a little bit more involved in the game. It was very funny. Mr. Redham, a huge hockey fan, specifically with the Detroit Red Wings, and he's named a few horses after players on the Red Wings. And we have Nyquist making fun because one of the horses they named after another player didn't turn out so great.
Well, this one here is the early favorite, like you would think, going into the 3-year-old season, Nyquist.
I would think so. Undefeated, really impressive in the juvenile. We'll see how he comes into the next year and grows up as a 3-year-old. And all I can say, if anyone, Mr. Redham, my dad played for the Red Wings. If you'd like to name a horse Stazak, we really wouldn't be that upset at all. Just saying.
And the other one they're setting this time of year, setting all the stud fees. And you remember Honor Code, who ran 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's $40,000. Liam's Map, what a performance in the Breeders' Cup! $25,000 for his stud fee.
I think that's a ripoff. I think he should be much more money than that. He was so impressive, but Honor Code is just phenomenally bred, so I can see why both Grade 1 winners and both retiring to Lane's End this year. There was a really cool picture of the two of them facing each other head-to-head at Lane's End, and of course that's the closest they've been since the Whitney when Honor Code ran down Liam's Map at the wire. So very exciting stallion prospects there.
What a way to retire. Let's go to our first race on Friday afternoon. We have 10 we want to talk about. The first one, 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claim is fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. We mentioned the carryover here in the Super High Five. A couple of scratches to report in here. Number 2, Kitten Star, and number 7, Weston Shine. And I went with the number 3 horse in here, Katie, and I'll tell you why. This one is hoping to get a clean start. If you go back and look at this horse's last race, he got slammed at the start. He got squeezed back between horses. Then he goes up and he rushes up to challenge for the lead. Tires from her earlier efforts, finishes 6th in her latest level at this level and distance. I wasn't enamored by anybody else in this race, so I went with a horse that had a trouble call in there and put that one on top, and that's number 3. Good connections with that, being Mike Petro, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Why not? Currently up there at 5-1, very early in the wagering.
Well, that's what this horse makes me do every time she races. I picked her on top multiple occasions, and she has let me down every time. So I had to go a different direction today, but really wouldn't be surprised if she got it done. Just couldn't give her another chance today. It was kind of the end of the road there for me, my breaking point, but we'll see how she does today, certainly with a shot in the race. I decided to take a chance on a different horse. I went with the 6, Kept the Faith. This one returned to turf sprinting competition for the first time in 13 months in her last start on October 24th, and she really responded, rallied from 4 wide at the Yates pole to finish 3rd, only beaten a length. This is going to be her 3rd start off a 6-month layoff, and I think she's really rounding into form in terms of fitness and getting back in that preferred niche of turf sprinting.
Well, you know, the horse I have in the 3rd here, I have the 6, of course, in 2nd is the 8, Nostra. It's the daughter of Half Hours, debuting for Jane Sibeli. Jane Sibeli, not known for her first-time starters. I couldn't believe this is the morning line favorite up there at 7-1 because I just thought that, you know, there was other horses in here. I can understand this horse is going to take money, believe me, because it's Jane Sibeli, but she's 0 for 28 with all first-time starters.
Yep, I saw that number, and I did not put Nostra on the ticket until the 2 Kitten Star scratched, and I added it to the ticket. But she is working well. She's bred for the turf. She's adding out of a winning daughter of Daher. Worked 5/8 in 1:03 at Palm Meadows on the 23rd. Tyler Gaffleone going to ride. He's actually won on 5 of 7 starters for this barn. 71% win clip, so should be on the ticket somewhere, but not sold as a 7-2 morning line favorite.
Yeah, but Nostra, you made some good points with that horse for a first-time start. If it's going to win, this is the place, and this is the connections that can certainly do it. You also used the 9 with a kiss.
Yeah, this one was 4th, just 3/4 of a length behind Kept the Faith on October 24th. So I thought if I liked that one, Kept the Faith, I should like this one. And while Kept the Faith has run 9 times, it was with a Kiss's career debut, so she certainly can improve a lot in her 2nd start.
Well, let's go to race number 2, 7 furlongs. Claimers, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. Lost my top selection in here with the number 2 horse, Starship Trouble, and I scratched into the 4-horse Spiritual Leader. You went with the horse I have in 2nd, and that is Alice and Trixie.
I wish I was as sold on Alice and Trixie, but I too scratched into this one with the scratch of Starship Trouble. But George Navarro had a great day yesterday, 3 wins, so we're going to see how he does today. Starts it out with Alice and Trixie. Ship it in from Monmouth after rallying between horses to get up for 2nd against $5,000 claimers on the shore September 20th. She hit the board in each of her 2 starts since dropping to that level of competition, which is probably a lateral move to this on the ship-in. Untried at this particular distance, but she did break her maiden going 7.5 furlongs at Aqueduct in April, so I thought it might be a good fit and just love the way this barn is going right now.
I like the name of this horse, Alice and Trixie. Do you remember the Honeymooners, the show The Honeymooners? Probably not before your time, but Alice was Ralph Cramden's wife, and Trixie was Ed Norton's wife, and they always went bang, zoom, so I like the name of an old sitcom that way before your time.
I like old sitcoms. I'm a big Green Acres fan and the Munsters, but I missed that.
This is the 50s. You got to go further back than that. Number 4, Spiritual Leaders, who I ended up on top. This one is turning back to 7 furlongs. 3 previous races at this distance with a win and a 3rd. Stalked the pace, finished 2nd going a mile, and dropped to this $6,250 claiming level last time out. Proven at 7 furlongs. Thought it was a logical choice. Can understand everything you said about the one, Alice and Trixie. And I added the number 7, Diana's Comprise, was cutting back to 7 furlongs today, won at that distance, was out there on a 3.5 length lead, went 2nd at a mile. I just, I'm going to give this horse a shot to be on the ticket.
That's exactly what I did. I like that she's won at this distance before, should respond to the turn back. Not sure if she can win, but this is a wide open race with that scratch.
Let's go to race 3. We're going back to the turf. It's a 1-mile claimer, 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratch the number 1 horse in here, Little Chuck, and I went with the number 5, and I think you had Little Chuck on top.
I actually had Scalpine on top throughout, but I did have Little Chuck in 2nd. I thought he had a great chance with a trouble call last time. Not going to see him go today, but Scalpine looks like the horse to beat.
Yeah, hoping to make amends after breaking from the rail last time out, dueling for the lead, finishing 3rd as the favorite. His career debut at this level and distance. I think he moves up even more now with the scratch of Little Chuck. So on top of the ticket, number 5, Scalpine.
Absolutely. Career best effort last time out. think he's really finding his best stride. This is the right level and distance for him. Edgard Zayas keeps the mount for Antonio Sano. Speaking of hot barns.
Yeah, use the number 3, Telly Tony, in second with Luca Panici.
Yeah, David Fox trainee cuts this one in half. This one drifted out on the second turn pretty badly. Finished 7th against $50,000 maiden claimers at this distance on October 14th. Gonna cut his tag in half today. And the third place finisher came back to win just yesterday.
Number 7, Unspoken Quality, is making his career turf debut after finishing second. That was a rained-out affair, contested at a mile and the 16th. Was on a sealed, sloppy track. Steve DeMauro, Antonio Gallardo atop this exclusive Quality. There's a reason to believe this horse can run well in here off that performance last time out. Who else did you use?
I used the 4, Templar Warrior. This one made a late bid on the outside to finish 4th behind Scalpine on the 18th. Definitely responded to a class drop that day from maiden special weight competition for trainer Juan Rodriguez. Think he can build off that. Also like that his debut came in a key race that produced 4 next out winners. This might be the right spot for him, but again, this is another wide open race, and I also took a look at the 6 that you used.
Yeah, this was my sneaky in the race. He's dropping to the $25,000 level on the turf. Failed to show much, but he broke from a tough post that day, 12, and he was wearing blinkers that day, and I'm thinking, if you look at his performance 2 back, wasn't that bad. They added the blinkers. He didn't run a step in that race. As you mentioned, 4 horses have come out of that race to win from 11 starters. Blinkers off today might be the key. 12-1 on the morning line, and that's a sneaky in that race. Number 6, American Phantom, 12-1 on the line.
Great value.
Let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. 6 furlong starter, optional claimer. Fillies and mares, 3 and up, 12-5. And we have no scratches in this race. I want to go back and show you performance. A horse I did not use in second. I did not use, but it was a pretty nice performance. I'm talking about the 2 today, and that is Miss Darla.
Yeah, Miss Darla, I think. I wanted to show this race of hers because it was a pretty impressive effort back on September 4th. She's since run in a stake and was off the board, but going to drop into a better level of competition. Here you see her, draws off to a 6 1/4 length victory. Very authoritative win, very much the best. Drifts in a little bit, rider keeps her on task. It's raining and just strides out very nicely. If you take out her 2 stake starts this summer, she'd be on a 3-race winning streak. Hasn't run since getting rank in the early stages of the Gold Mover Stakes. Tried to go with Flutterby and faded to finish 7th. But who can go with Flutterby? Not many. I think this is a great spot for her. 9 of her 11 career victories have come at the distance, so I thought she should be somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, and I agree. I did not use it, but it makes a lot of sense, especially if you're doing the multiple wages like the early pick 4 or something like that. A horse like this, you never know if they have another one left like that in the tank. Just go out there, beat these horses. With that said, I went to the horse you have in third and put it on top, and that is the 4, BL's Wagon. Was given some time off after her really impressive 3-race win streak ended when she stalked the pace and she weakened when fading to last. That was in the 1 mile, $75,000 Monroe Handicap. It was at Gulfstream. It was on July 25th. I thought that was a tough spot for her. She was beaten much simpler, and I think this is a good spot for her. Larry Pilati is 3 for 10, 30% with horses, older horses coming off a layoff of 61 to 180 days. BL's Wagon, I think, is going to come back. I think it's spotted logically, and I'm glad to see you used it on the ticket. You also used, well, you mentioned the 2 already, Miss Darla, but you put the number 5, who I have in second, Satan's Mistress, on top.
I did, and I think she too, class relief is really going to come into play in this race, and I think she too finds an excellent spot here. Returns from a brief 7-week freshening for Jane Sibeli. Vied on the lead, tired to 4th in a $55,000 optional claimer at Delaware on September 16th. But she should appreciate the class relief because she's made 5 of her last 7 starts in stakes competition, and she even ran 3rd in the Dashing Beauty Stakes at Delaware, 3 starts back in July. 5 for 6 in the money at this distance with 3 wins and turning a bullet move at Palm Meadows to tune up for this start. That's what sold me.
Well, the number 3, Bohemia de Lave, entered for a $12,500 tag in this optional claimer, so they put him in for the tag. Back at Gulfstream Park West, 8 races here with a win and 4 third-place finishes. Returned from a freshening to stalk 3 wide. Finished a distant 4th. It was against $30,000 optional claimers. Was up at Monmouth in New Jersey. The connections alone to George Navarro, Edgard Zayas in the saddle. I just thought a horse you might want to throw somewhere on your ticket. We mentioned that really nice carryover in the Rainbow Six of $25,000 plus. Starts here in race number 5, and it's a 5 furlong turf maiden claiming event for fillies, 2-year-olds, $35,000. Not going to make it easy. You got a full field of 10 runners in here. And, of course, Katie and I, every time we have this, we have the same horse on top, and that's the 6, Born to Be Winner.
This one going to make her second career start with Lasix today. A daughter of Einstein. Chased the pace and finished 5th. Only beaten 3 lengths, though, in her career debut at Gulfstream on September 6th for Carlo Vaccarezza. Another barn that's really been doing well as of late. From that one start, she owns the highest buyer any filly in this field has ever run. So she definitely has run strong numbers, can build off that effort, gets Lasix, and training well.
Ridden today by Paco Lopez, daughter of Einstein's. Always like them on the turf. Number 1, Layla's Way, is breaking from the rail after tracking the pace last time out. Finishing second, was beat about 3/4 of a length. That was against $25,000 maidens at this very distance. The trainer is Dan Peter, and he's got Edgar Zayas returning on the daughter of Graham Hall. Thought it was a logical choice off that performance last time out.
Yeah, she's been finishing second, getting closer. I think that's a filly on the rise for sure.
Yeah, number 9, Trouble in Moscow, you used in 3rd.
Yeah, running for a tag for the first time today, but she hasn't run since July. Otherwise, I might have this filly even higher on my ticket. Close from 7th to finish 4th in her debut in Maiden Special Weight Company. That race produced 2 next out winners in Poison Art and China Bella. Both broke their maidens in Maiden Special Weight Company. This one dropping today. And China Bella actually finished behind Trouble in Moscow on that day where Trouble in Moscow debuted. So I think this one, if she can come back fit, she might be a big player in here.
Let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. 6 furlongs, claimers, fillies and mares 3 and up. $6,250. 9 runners in this race. And Katie, we both went with the number 6 in here, and that is Corinthians Glory.
Yeah, the 2-race win streak snapped last time out when she stretched out to 7/8 of a mile, tracked the pace, faded to 3rd. That was against $10,000 claimers on October 9th. Turning back to 3/4 of a mile and taking a slight class drop. I think the combination of those two set her up perfectly here.
Number 4, Spring Forward Alex, is a speedy daughter of Marco Bay, who leaves little doubt. In my mind, knows what her running tactics will be. She's winner of 2 of 3 recent sprints in front-running fashion, and she's going to go out there and say, hey, catch me if you can, and we don't know if they will in this race or they won't, but I'm thinking that Corinthians Glory looks a little bit better in there. And you used the 2 in second, and Skippy is back.
I think this one might be able to sit the trip if Spring Forward Alex gets out to too quick of a lead and Corinthians Glory maybe tries to go with her. She's looking to break a streak of second-itis today, though. She's been second in each of her last 3 starts.
Let's go to race number 7, 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claimer, fillies, 2-year-olds, $35,000. 1 scratch in here, number 3, I'm a Tornado. Also note the jockey on the number 8 horse is Jonathan Gonzalez. And number 2, Sadie, is dropping to this $35,000 level, debuting on the turf after chasing the pace, tiring in that race to finish 6th behind a pair of next out winners. It was a 5.5 furlong maiden special weight debut. It was up at Parks in Philadelphia. Eddie Plessis Jr. reunites this daughter of In Summation with jockey Paco Lopez.
It is her turf debut, but she's getting class relief. I think it's an excellent spot to try a new surface, and she should be bred for it as she's out of a forestry mare.
I want to hear about the one, My Martinez, sitting up there 20-1 with Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle.
Why not? If you can get 20-1 in a horse Tyler Gaffleone is riding, play it. This is a daughter of Now, running for a tag for the first time. Should appreciate the class relief. She's running 3 maiden special weights, 1 in the main track, and her 2 most recent efforts came in turf sprints. The Dam did not break her maiden until her 4th start. This one making her 4th start today, and Tyler Gaffleone going to ride for the first time. We know he can give this one a leg up.
Number 4, Mrs. Ida L., daughter of Drosselmeyer, making her career debut for trainer Dan Peter. Edgar Zayas, named to ride. The freshman is trained consistently enough, I think, across town to merit consideration. This race certainly conjures up more questions than answers. It's a wide-open affair. So if you have a way you want to go, like a 20-1 shot in there, I would not be surprised if it wins a race like this.
Absolutely not. And Mrs. Ada L. liked the breeding on that one, out of a 5-time graded stakes winner in Chip, but the sire Drosselmeyer, he is still a young sire, so can definitely improve upon this, but he's not yet sired a turf winner.
Well, let's go to race number 8, 6.5 furlong starter, optional claimer 3 and up, $35,000, 8 in the field, no scratches, no jockey changes. Want to go back and show you the performance? Well, it's a couple of starts back of a Wicked Rascal.
I think Wicked Rascal is the class of this race. He should appreciate class relief today. This is in the Florida Sire Stakes Unbridled division. He actually took the lead into the stretch and dueled to the wire. This race had a cavalry charge to the wire. A lot of horses there at the finish, and he hung on pretty gamely. He finished his second to Your Dreams Are Mine, who's able to close in this race on the outside. He's only beaten ahead. That was going 7/8, going to turn back a little bit today in an excellent spot. This is his preferred sprinting distance, and he's a perfect 1-for-1 here at Gulfstream Park
Yeah,
West.
you know, this horse, if you go back and look at his past performances, a Wicked Rascal, he routinely, carves out sub 45-second half miles when sprinting. Now you mentioned cuts back to this distance today after running in the 1 mile, $150,000 Florida prized stakes. Looks like the class of the class in here. The horse you have in second, Subcontractor, was they, wanted to put this one on top, but I liked Wicked Rascal too much, and I'll tell you why. Stepping up the competition first start since defeating a trio of next out winners when he rallied to win a $50,000 two-lifetime claimer at Belmont. Was back on September 16th. The trainer is David Jacobson. He's really strong with every kind of angle, so a horse here coming out of a key race, could not leave him off my ticket.
I know you really liked this horse last week, and
I
he
did.
scratched, and now in maybe a little bit more of a difficult spot with Wicked Rascal, but he should be somewhere on your ticket.
Well, tell me about the two.
Captain Taves, this one,
Another hockey.
With a chance for sure, bolstered by that hockey-affiliated name. From the Jenna Antonucci barn, enters this race off a 1 3/4 length score against $30,000 claimers. At this distance, that was September 24th across town at Gulfstream. Like that he's competed with tougher, a lot of straight allowance experience, will be part of the speed.
Number 5, Jaden's Best, 10-1, does his best running in the latter stages of the race. Why can't he, sit behind that speed and grab a share in here behind his uncoupled stablemate, a Wicked Rascal? Kathleen O'Connell has Antonio Gallardo in here, and if things get dicey on the front end, someone runs with Wicked Rascal and sets it up, the 5-horse can come running late. And the old adage of the longer price of the uncoupled entry somehow finding a way to win. Race 9, 7.5 furlongs turf, allowance optional claimer, 3 and up, $62,500. Scratch the 5, One Step Salsa, the main track only, number 12, Aces for John. That was my top pick in here today, and I scratched into number 8, Air Bueno. I'll let you start with the number 11 horse in here. CZ, who I wasn't sold could run the turf, added this horse actually.
I am. I think he can go on the turf. Let's take a look at his most recent start back on October 18th. This is on the dirt. It will be his turf debut today, but this was his first start off a significant layoff, and I thought he ran well in this race, pretty gamely. He was left with just a little bit too much to do in the stretch. Runs on, getting his fitness level back, I think. Trainer Stanley Gold, I chatted with him about this horse yesterday, and he said that he's actually always wanted to try him on the turf, but he's run so well on the dirt. He's a graded stakes winner and really the class of this field if this were a dirt race. But he never had that opportunity because he was just going so well in the dirt. But he says he has a great turf foot, and he thinks that this is just an excellent start to try. And you know what? He's got some pedigree for it. The dam never turfed, but his sire, Elusive Buff, 29% with his turf starters, his turf progeny. I think this horse finds an excellent spot here to try the grass, and we'll see if he can pull it off.
Well, talking about heartbreakers, horses that I bet that haven't done it, what I wanted him to do so far is the 8 Air Bueno is cutting back slightly today to the 7.5 furlong distance. Going to wear blinkers after re-rallying actually in that race to finish second against this same competition going a mile. Chuck Simon, Jeffrey Sanchez in the saddle. Like I said, I really like the 5 in here, scratched into the 8, but I'm not too unhappy with this horse being on top of my ticket because I'm certainly going to box him with the CZ, and we both added the 2 Element.
I think the key here is that he's going to get blinkers added. Last time out, he just kind of flattened, didn't really get too much involved. Isn't a horse that typically shows speed. The blinkers should help him. I think he, too, has some back class. Trainer Todd Pletcher, 36% when adding blinkers on the turf in the past year.
Let's go to race number 10. 6 furlongs, claimers at 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or 3-year-olds, $6,250. Jockey on the 3, Pedro Monterrey Jr. Scratch the number 9, Dreaming of Lawrence. I went with the number 4 horse here. The judge chuckles. You went with the inside horse, Never in Trouble, at 10-1.
A lot of horses in here with winning streaks have really been running consistently well. This is one of them. He seeks his third straight win today. He's undefeated on dirt and at this distance since making a surface switch in early October. Broke his maiden by a length and 3/4, then followed it right up, drawed off by 3 1/4 lengths when facing winners for the first time on October 24th. I think he could sit a lovely stalking trip in this race, and we'll see if he can extend that winning streak.
Well, the 4, the Judge Chuckles, has his claiming tag sliced in half today, turns back to 3/4 of a mile after splitting foes and finishing third, beating a length by $12,500 condition. Claimers going 6.5 furlongs. Glad to see you have it on the ticket. I put the 6 in second. Katie Wright on ready is another drop into this level, looking to win the rubber match between the Judge Chuckles, who I like, so I had to add this one. He finished 5th behind him last out, 2nd in front of him when they competed on a good track at Gulfstream on September 13th. Mike Petro, Edgar Zayas, good connections in there. You used the number 12 horse, Deciding Moment, in second.
Another who's similarly on a 2-race win streak. He's won his last 2 starts by a combined 8 lengths. He's making his 3rd start off a 5-month layup as well, so I really think he'll be at his fittest today. But he is going to need to break well from the outside to secure a position on the front end because he does do his best running up on the pace.
Well, you know, I want to just mention a stat here. Going into today's card, no horse on any surface at any distance has won from post 12 at this meeting yet.
There's a first time for everything.
There's a first time. Well, I'm glad you have it in second. So we'll see. Of course, that's just one of those stats that can change in a moment.
It's
you know,
difficult.
They
It
won
is
it post
difficult.
11 twice or 3 times, but not 12 and not 13. We don't have that many starting from post 13. So good luck with all your selections Friday afternoon, and it's going to be a fun day. But what about tomorrow? 8 stakes races.
8 stakes races. It's Millions Preview Day. We have a bunch of juvenile turf races, juvenile dirt races. We got the Millions Classic Preview. East Hall going to look to defend his title. A lot of fun. $800,000 in purses. You got to be here.
Let's turn it over to our track announcer, Pete Aiello, and he'll give you all the updates you need to have a fun